You're listening to the Bourbon and Balance podcast, where we discuss fitness and the finer things in life with people who find balance between both.
This week we do the lightning round. We had the opportunity to head out to the Fresh Coast Fitness Festival in Muskegon, Michigan, and watch our friends compete. A bunch of our fittest friends were out there competing. And while we were there, we sat down with some of them and discussed how they approach competition and how they mentally prepare. If you want to increase your Olympic lift strength, as well as your bench, squat, and deadlift, and have some fun doing some high volume bro style accessory work, head over to our social media, check out the link to our Broly program. Right now, you can use the promo code BROLY50 to get 50% off your first month of programming. This week's episode is sponsored by Coal Whip Speed Ropes. Coal Whip was designed with two things in mind, speed and efficiency. Use promo code BOURBON to get 10% off your first order.
Is that Bourbon and Balance? Can you say it? Yep.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Bourbon and Balance podcast. It's Tully. I'm with Ryan.
Hello.
We are at the Fresh Coast. I think it's
Fest.
like a fitness festival. We're sitting at the beach, Pierre Marquette Beach here in Muskegon, Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's a decent day, a little actually chilly for July summer
It's not
day, to be
raining,
honest.
though.
Yeah, that's nice. It was rain in the forecast
We're in a good spot.
originally. And
We're going to do like a rapid fire with a bunch of athletes.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk basically like one topic. I'm sure we'll get off topic a lot, but we're going to talk competition routines. So, of course, we had one of our favorite guests come on, flew in from Maryland.
Just for this.
Jimmy JP, James P. Coleman II.
Jean-Paul.
Full name, Jameson Peterson.
Jameson Peterson.
Jameson Peterson.
Coal
The
Whip.
third.
So
Second.
this is quite a different weekend for you. Well, give us a rundown on what you just competed in.
Well, I just competed in senior nationals for USA weightlifting over in Detroit. And now we're over here. I was going to watch my wife compete today. And then Ryan has to go and complicate my life again.
What happened? What did Ryan do?
He talks a lot of trash and says you can't do it, and I'm like, yes, I can. And I'm too
Well,
competitive
you
to say
technically
no.
took my spot, too.
I did.
You
Which,
are my replacement.
Thank goodness that happened, because I don't know if we'd be fourth.
Sure.
Probably be first, but that's
yeah,
okay.
so you're also, you're competing this weekend, too.
Yes.
So you competed how many weeks ago in senior nationals?
That was 7 days from today.
Oh, yeah. So you
It was
originally...
literally a week ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't done a Metcon in basically 2 years.
And now you got thrown into
so
a
I did
CrossFit competition.
the classic cram for the test,
Yeah.
and I can't believe it, but I'm actually probably going to pass.
Conditioning's overrated.
So
anyways.
what does the prep for like a weightlifting competition look like, and how is it different from prepping for a CrossFit competition?
Well, obviously, significantly less conditioning. Actually, none.
Sure.
For me, it's a lot of just eating as much as I absolutely can. But if anybody's listened to the podcast, they know that. It'll be some classic lifts, so just the snatch and the clean and jerk leading up for the first couple weeks. And then the week before, usually you go to your 90 to 95%, maybe a little bit more if you're feeling good. And then you taper off. So you start at like 80%, and then you take a day off. You do like 50, and then you take another day off, and you do like, just whatever you can do for like a very light power, just to feel the lifts. And then in between those, you'll do like a little back squatting, a little pulling, just to feel some heavier weight.
Yeah.
But let your body kind of heal and recover, and you really start to notice a difference because your aches and pains start to go away.
So day of, we were talking about this the other day. But you were talking about like your day of routines, or like your almost like superstitions that you have when you're warming up and when you're getting ready to get on the platform. What do those look like?
Specifically for weightlifting?
Yeah, let's just say weightlifting, and then we'll talk CrossFit after that.
Yeah, they're a little different. First thing is I try not to throw up. I try not to puke. Which is actually
Is it nerves?
it's partially nerves, but then also you know how terrible I am at eating in the morning.
Yeah.
So that plays a role.
Oh boy.
First thing I'll do, wake up and just try to get something in my stomach right away, usually like a pancake or something. Get a little settled, drink some coffee, and I typically have been lifting around midday in most of the national meets I've gone to.
Yeah, it is interesting that they moved from having like prime time for the A sessions to moving them to like noon or 11:30.
What is usually prime time?
They
I
would
think
do like
that changed.
5:30 or 7:30 in past
PM,
years.
yeah, in the afternoon or in the evening.
Well, that changed because of the weight classes.
Yeah.
So now, even though I'm in a heavier class, we lift sooner in the week.
Yeah.
So that I think that has something to do with it.
Sure.
Which is kind of nice. I used to lift on Saturday. I liked that a little
But
bit better.
they still had like Maddie Rogers and Kate and I lifted, I think, at like the 11:30 session.
Huh.
Yeah, actually, because Maddie lifted on Sunday at like noontime.
Is
Yeah.
that more desirable to lift around lunchtime or to lift in the evening?
I
for
would
you?
rather lift in the evening.
For me, for him, evening is probably great. Well, actually, evening. Usually you would want morning, right?
I
for
prefer
weight.
evening
Just for
Is that
weight.
because
because when
if
you
I'm
train?
over, I have the opportunity over on weight when I'm cutting. I have the opportunity to drop a little bit more before going in. But like if you wake up not on weight and
Yeah,
you
you're in
lift at
trouble.
10:30 or 11:30, you're not doing a lot.
This
Okay,
reminds
so
me.
I guess it kind of works for both of us because I like to have as much time as possible to get food
Yeah.
in my stomach.
Yeah.
But I mean, noon is perfectly fine. Just not lifting it.
This is kind of like a branch off, but when you guys were doing your snatch event today, you lifted. I think you probably had maybe the second highest snatch complex. You had a double hang snatch, and when you hit your second snatch successfully, I don't know if
Yeah.
you heard me yell it, but I screamed like really loud. And he only weighs 135 pounds, and like everybody was laughing around me.
Of
It was
course.
pretty good. Well, I mean, to be honest, you probably weigh a good 50 pounds less than most guys that are lifting that same weight out
I mean,
here. So,
Yeah.
I guess how much does Chris weigh and my other
yeah, I
teammate
mean, he
Dylan?
probably weighs
Probably
220.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I like to be able to do that, lift the big weights with the big guys.
Sure. So what is okay? So it's really not like you're really just eating, making sure you have fuel in your system.
Yeah,
Do you have any
well-
like pre-lifting routines that you do?
I forgot probably the most important part, and when I was in hockey, I got a lot of sports psychology training, but I don't think it was that useful because it was a team sport, and you don't have as much control. Being in individual sports now, it's really nice because I feel like that training has complemented really well, and anytime I'm weightlifting, I'll find a quiet place and just close my eyes, visualize the lifts,
Sure.
practice some breathing, and I think that goes a really long way for my performance.
Yeah, for nerves, controlling heart rate.
Yeah, because I'll have butterflies before that, and like just specifically in Detroit, once I opened my eyes, I felt amazing. I was like on fire, ready to
Yeah.
go.
What do
no
you
butterflies.
do in your visualization itself? Because I've heard a lot of different techniques. Like some people, and this is how I visualize, is like I visualize both making the lifts and missing the lifts and then coming back from a missed lift
Oh,
and like
that's
hitting
interesting.
a made
I
lift.
wouldn't think visualizing a miss would be like a good, like mental, I don't know, like Kickstarter for an event.
Part of it is also like preparing yourself for
Preparing
being
for
able to
what might
bounce back
happen.
from something bad
Sure,
happening.
that makes sense.
For me, it's just makes. I imagine a 6-for-6 performance. Most importantly, I imagine having fun and being happy. And
We
that
just had this
makes a
conversation
huge
yesterday.
difference because like I'll be like stoic, neutral face,
Yeah, like level-headed.
but like in my like visualizations, I'll like know that I'm actually
Yeah.
smiling. Like
Matt Frazier in like an old regionals video, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, said that a happy competitor is a feared competitor.
Yeah,
and
I
I think
would
if
agree.
you visualize yourself having fun, that's only going to increase the opportunity for you to do better in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Whether it's playing hockey, lifting weights,
ultimately,
trying to
like
dunk a basketball.
why are we doing this?
whatever it may be.
We're supposed to be having fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It
I do
hurts
it-
a lot.
I do
but
it for all
does hurt
the
a lot.
fame and money.
Dude,
Fame and money?
We've made so much money off of these sports. It's insane.
in your
You
mountain
have no
climber
idea.
sports.
So much fame, so much
Do you
money.
do any type of visualization?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. That I
Right.
I will
right.
visualize,
Have
and
you
I
always done that though? I feel like we haven't talked about that.
Yeah,
Really? I did that
I
when
feel
we
like it's
did-
a kind of thing that sometimes maybe I haven't talked about because I feel like sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, right." He visualizes.
Right.
Like it's kind of like people say they do that,
Sure.
and I mean, for me, I feel like I'm always visualizing though. Like
Really?
especially with the Olympic lifts and how it's so repetitive. I feel like I'm always essentially like dreaming up hitting like a PR total.
Really?
And doing that kind of stuff.
The biggest thing that helped me when we were at Granite Games recently, Joe and I had this talk about like getting yourself out of the stimulus, not so much physically, because obviously like it's hard to remove yourself from being in a competition stimulus if you're actually at a competition, but mentally. So like being able to take yourself and your mind away from competing and like to something that you're maybe an expert at already, but it has nothing to do with the competition that you're playing.
Yep.
So like for me, it was always like, okay, visualizing myself riding a motorcycle, or like, you know, whatever, playing hockey instead of doing CrossFit. And that always like allows me to relax and kind of like calm down before, you know, stepping onto a competition field. And
It's interesting.
whatever.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
The hard thing with any of this is finding that right spot in the bell curve of like being jacked up and like
Yeah.
physically and emotionally, like, you know,
Excited.
peaked.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
There's a lot
but
of timing.
not also like being too far one way
Right.
where you're like, you do one event or you do one lift and then you like dump everything.
That was like
And
me
then-
at regionals in 2018, the
Yeah.
first event.
Yep.
It's like my stimulus was way too high. I was way too excited. I couldn't control it, and then therefore I couldn't control how I performed
Yep.
with a barbell, and it was like an out of body experience. But if
Yeah.
you can hone that and use that, you know, for whatever you're doing, it usually turns into a positive outcome.
Yep. Same idea with us with Olympic lifting. Like, you don't want to be so jacked that you go rip your opener and toss it behind you.
Right.
And then you
Yeah, we've all
struggle to
seen that.
find
Right.
that. You struggle to find that you only get 2 more attempts. You have to find like that middle ground if you don't get the first one
Sure.
right. So
Sure.
yeah, it's definitely whatever, you know, routine works for people. But I think especially like a routine sport like weightlifting, or I'm sure like bowlers go through the same thing, or
Yeah.
golfers, of course.
Yeah.
You have to go
Any
through
type
the
of
routine.
skilled sport
Yeah,
like that.
super high
Yeah.
precision, where you're trying to do the same thing over and over.
Right. Well, hey man, thanks for taking the time. I know
Absolutely.
you're gonna have to get warmed up here pretty soon, but
Yeah,
we appreciate you sitting down with us.
cool.
Jimmy, you've been
All
on
the way
it again.
from Maryland.
I'm on again.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Hey, we're back on. We got another interview, really quick, rapid fire. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? What's your sex?
Yes.
Who are you into?
Yes.
With
Love
who
these
you slept with
questions.
more?
Love these questions. My sex is anything to do with Ryan Schaefer. I'm Pete Nellis. I'm actually originally from Central New York. Moved to Michigan here a few years ago. Owner of Motor City CrossFit and work for Cadillac headquarters.
Hey.
Woo.
But you also do a lot of fitness.
Yeah, I do mediocre
Doo-doo. He
amount
said
of
doo-doo.
doo-doo amount of
big doo-doo guy.
Out of-
do a mediocre amount of fitness. Play
You
a
were
lot of
saying
golf.
that you're playing a lot
but
of
he
golf
does play
and
a lot of golf.
eating good food this summer. Me too. Except
Yes.
for
Very
minus
good
the
at
golf.
A lot of golf, a lot of food, a lot of fitness.
How many from the hip, shooting from the hip? How many competitions do you think you have done in total?
I'd say
CrossFit competitions.
I'd say probably somewhere around 20. Yeah,
Wow.
somewhere around 20.
So
That's
we're
a lot.
talking, and we kind of prepped you a little bit, but routines, things that you always do getting ready for a competition, during a competition,
Yeah.
or even post competition. What does that look like?
Yeah, so one is actually something that's been more recent that I learned from you and Michael was the first thing I do when I get out of bed in the morning the day of a competition is just get moving.
Yeah.
Just something to kind of loosen up and get the blood flowing.
Sure.
And then other than that, it's just trying to stay calm throughout the day. Try not to let your emotions take over. Try not to get too much caffeine because I can do that really easily with
Big fan of
pre-workouts
caffeine.
and-
Big fan
and
of
coffee.
caffeine.
So I try not to take too much caffeine in. Other than that, just really try to stay calm, listen to more like relaxing music instead of EDM with 180 beats per minute.
Yeah.
So
It is interesting, like I bet that most of these competitors here, just competing in general, I bet people that are used to having caffeine before they work out, if they weren't to have caffeine day of competition, the stimulus just from competing will make them feel more energized.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general,
Yeah.
than actually needing the caffeine that they think they need, right? Or like
Exactly.
taking the caffeine.
Exactly,
they think they
because like you look at the last event, like people are going for a max double hang snatch. Like you have so much more adrenaline.
Yeah.
You don't need the caffeine.
You
Like,
got tons of people cheering
Exactly.
on.
It's-
Yeah.
need.
place is
Especially like
electric
coming out of
and-
COVID, competing in like an in-person event.
And this is
where
a
people
cool
are actually
venue
here.
too.
Like your stimulus is so high, the bar feels so light. It's insane.
Yeah.
You should already be amped up. You don't need caffeine to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So what about like during a competition, is there anything that you make sure you do? Like, what are you eating?
Yes.
Are you eating? Are you drinking during?
So, as you know, I'm a big fan of oatmeal. So I have a
oatmeal.
lot
We
of
saw that.
I have a lot of overnight oats that are prepared, fuel
delicious.
for fires, just like quick carbs, quick proteins.
Sure.
Try not to do anything too heavy. I've been doing this long enough, so I understand kind of what works in my body and what doesn't.
Sure.
So mostly quick carbs. Easy to digest proteins, and then just kind of keep them right after events and
Sure.
then a little bit before events.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about leading up to this week? What did this week look like as you prepared for the competition? Whoa, he's laughing.
I just
Did you
came
just
off
play a lot of golf?
Just came off a 3-day Bender golf trip.
Oh, there we go. Sweet.
But like generally, honestly, I just try not to get volume too high, but treat today like a heavy training day. So yesterday was a travel day and a little bit of just kind of moving machines. But other than that, just really try to keep the carbs up the days leading into
It's
it.
also, and you're somebody that you've competed in many, like Wadapalooza, for example,
Yes.
right? Like multi-day competitions versus
Yeah.
singular day competition, way different in terms of prep.
100%.
So I would think like a competition like today, where you're really just doing like 3 big training sessions or
Yeah.
like, 3 big events.
Yes.
You can treat, like you said, it like a normal training day, maybe just a little bit more volume.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm much more carbed up.
But the
today
prep
than I
leading
normally
up
would be.
to
Yeah,
an event where you're competing for 3 days straight is much different.
much
Yeah.
different. Treat it like a big training day,
Right.
and don't trash yourself the last 2 to 3 days.
Right,
And
sure. Right.
just try to be smart with what you're doing going into it. Make sure you're properly hydrated. For we've seen here the last few years, it's 90+ degrees.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's super hot.
Yeah.
So just trying to stay really hydrated. That's really the key for me throughout the day is carbs and hydration.
Sure.
Sweet.
Cool,
How
man.
about like, do you do a lot of practicing the workouts, or are you wanting to just try them and like give them a feel, or are
This
you going to do
is,
it like 3 times?
This is another very common discussion point in our gym, in that I've never in my history practiced a workout.
Really?
Because
Ooh.
like it started with a Sultan Fran at Wadapalooza. I didn't want to feel that twice.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
feel
true.
that level of pain one time. So since then, 2016, I've never tested a workout.
Wow,
I think-
they're the opposite of the 8th day team.
Yeah.
In fact, the 8th day team is still practicing workouts from Granny.
That's actually kind of an inside joke, but it's actually a really fair statement to make, because I've always been one also to do the same thing. Like I never redid open workouts.
Yep.
I never even really like practice workouts before I did them, because it was like, okay, I know I'm going to hit a stimulus one time only, and then I'm not going to replicate that again.
Yeah, I don't want to feel that pain multiple times.
No.
Yeah.
And especially if you're really going to go into a dark corner.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
to do that
That's
twice.
true.
That's what
That's true.
I mean.
That's fair.
A lot of them will be a team competition
Yeah.
might be a little bit different, but like Wadapalooza, half those workouts are going to be dark place.
So
It
I was
is.
going to say, though, you have to differentiate between like a workout that's literally just like all gas,
Yeah.
right? Like a Sultan Fran,
Yeah.
versus a workout where there is actual strategy, where
Yeah.
you're going to have to break reps.
100%.
Especially with team stuff where you're
Yeah.
communicating a little bit more than you would,
Yeah.
obviously you're not communicating in individual events, but just
Yep.
like in terms of strategy, it's a little bit higher on the scale of necessity.
and you
Yeah.
have to figure
So
out when you're
practicing
going to
that kind of
break,
stuff.
when
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
going to
And I think that's a really big point of it too, is like I was fortunate that I competed individual, and I was never, on like the elite side to be with a team.
Yeah.
So I feel like that'd be very different, where you need to kind of
Yeah.
go in with that
Yeah.
strategy and
Yeah,
be able
that's
to
true.
work with the worm. I was just always like, well, I control what I do. So
yeah.
I just kind of got to know when
Gas
to
it.
be smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, we don't want to hold you too long because you got to compete.
You got
Good luck on
anything
this
you want
last
to
event.
plug before you
Yeah,
head
what are you
out?
going to plug?
Your socials, your gym, your.
Motor City CrossFit.
Motor City CrossFit.
Yeah,
I mean,
baby.
we've
So
got
if
about
you're
40
in
people
the
here
Detroit
tonight.
area, not downtown Detroit, but suburban Detroit.
Suburban.
Motor City CrossFit. Drop in and see Pete.
You got
Peter.
it. You
Thanks,
got
buddy.
it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Love ya.
Pete.
Turn it on. Is it on now?
Am I
Talk into
live?
it. Yeah, she's
Am I
in.
live? Okay, we're in.
Longtime friend. We were teammates for a little while. Danielle. Well, I know you as Danielle Boudreau.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to like say now Danielle Dunlap. but-
Dunlap now.
Yeah.
I'm a
How
married.
are you?
I'm a married lady.
She's
I'm
a
great.
married
Congratulations.
lady.
Great. Thank you so much.
And a mom.
And a
Which is
mom?
freaking wild.
Mom,
And
Yep.
an elite competitor.
almost elite.
Well, I'm giving. Oh,
I'm
shut
like
up! Get out of here.
teetering on the edge.
No. So what did you just get? I guess finished with like what?
I finished with a last chance qualifier, 25 out of 30, which wasn't what I had hoped for.
Sure.
Being last is never fun.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily last, but close to last. But I mean, I didn't think that I would even make it to semifinals.
So yeah,
I was gonna say that's
talk,
still
right?
like very, very elite to
This
be
is your
even in that last chance qualifier.
Thank you.
This is your return season.
This is my first season back.
As a
Yeah,
mom.
As a mom.
And you obviously did well enough to make it to, where did you compete for semifinals?
I competed at the MAC.
And what was
For
that like?
semifinals.
Obviously went well because you got a chance to compete in the last chance qualifier,
Yes.
but like tell us a little bit about the competition and what it was like to be on the floor and all
So
that.
the MAC was amazing. Reagan and I drove down together. That was really cool. Just, checking in and
Sure.
grabbing all the swag.
Reagan's your daughter.
And Reagan's my daughter. Yep. She's a little over a year and a half now.
So cool.
Yeah. Being a mom's the best.
Is it?
It's awesome.
I just became
we
a
haven't
dad,
really
so-
talked at all about
Yeah.
you being a mother, but what is that like as a competitor as well? Like with training and whatnot.
She's first. Her
Yeah.
and my husband are first. And training is second. But I have a really good support system down there.
Sure.
Having my family being up here is really hard, but
Yeah.
the military community down there is amazing. Everybody's super helpful because people have been in that situation before. They're single mom in it or single dad in it while their spouse is away,
Yeah.
and everybody's super helpful. So.
Yeah.
So it's great. I've got an awesome support system.
And you work full time at a gym.
and I
as
manage
well, right?
I manage my gym. Yeah.
Sure.
That's
What is
awesome.
that? What's it called?
Evolution Athletics.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you're wearing your headband for it right there.
Got the junk band on
Nice.
there.
And where is that located?
It's in Pinehurst, West End, but it's right outside Fort Bragg in North Carolina.
Very
That's
cool.
so awesome.
Yeah.
So you have obviously like a lot of people that help you with her.
I do.
So what is your training like now that you're a mom and like having to put her first? How many sessions do you get in a day? Like in peak season, what does your training look like?
So right now she's in daycare, which is great.
Oh,
I
sweet.
I can drop her off as early as 6:30 and then pick her up as late as 5:30.
Is there
Awesome.
any help from the military in something like that? Like do they
There
help?
are things that you can
subsidize it?
apply for.
Yeah.
But the amount of childcare that is available down there
Yeah.
is very small
Okay.
because everybody's putting their kid
Yeah.
in daycare. Everybody's working.
Sure.
So
That's what it's insanity. We have a 3.5-month-old daughter, and getting daycare is loony.
It's tough.
It's like not only difficult to get, but then once you get it, it's astronomically priced. Like
yes.
That's what I've heard.
it's
That's like kind of scary
for
to think
Sutton
about.
to pee and poop and cry and sleep. We are going to be paying like $275 a week.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
If I loved other people's kids more,
Yeah.
I would definitely open up a daycare.
Dude, Jay says
and
that
I
all the
would
time.
be
She's like, I should
rolling
just take in
it.
a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Rolling.
And yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So you're still obviously able to train at a high level.
Yeah. So I get in one session in the morning after I coach.
Okay.
Coach another class, eat my lunch, do a little computer work, programming, nutrition stuff, and then hit another session, and then I'll go pick up my daughter.
So did you have
Wow.
any expectation going into this season? Like, did you know that you were as fit as you were? Did you put any pressure on yourself to it's got to be hard because before you got pregnant, we competed together at Granite. You were competing at a very high level as both an individual and on a team. As your first kind of rookie season back after being a mom, what was your thoughts or expectations going into the season, into the open, really?
Yeah, well, I honestly had no idea, zero idea where I was at. My coach believed in me, but
Sure.
that only goes so far
Yeah,
in
sure.
the mindset of an athlete. But I'm a competitor. You always want to do well
Yeah.
as a competitor. So as far as that goes, I wanted to do well in the open.
Yeah.
With the open being restructured this year,
Yeah.
it was hard to game, I guess.
Yeah.
But
There's nowhere to hide, really.
right, nowhere to hide for 3 workouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're going into quarterfinals, which I expected to make it into quarterfinals
Yeah.
because 7,000 women made
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Sure.
So from there, it was just like I hoped and prayed that I would be top 20.
Yeah.
And I ended up being 51, and that was just like a complete shock.
Yeah.
I think I was either right behind or in front of China Cho. I was
It's
like,
so wild.
What is
Wow.
happening
As
right
As soon
now?
as you start seeing your name by names that you've followed for so long,
Yeah.
it's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
And then to be able to compete with them and deserve it, it's not a fluke.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I was back.
It's crazy.
It was very super motivating.
What did you have to place as an individual out of quarterfinals?
120.
Oh, top 120.
Top
So
120
you were in the,
out of North
you were 50
America.
what,
Yeah.
51?
I was 51.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So top 50% of that
Top-
as well.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
You
Yeah.
said you're not elite. Now
I know,
you're
what
telling
a
us that
joke.
you're very, very
yeah,
elite.
no
Oh
kidding.
my
That's
gosh.
incredible.
You were
Thank
top
you.
50%. Well, I don't even know what the number would
yeah,
be
what
there.
would that?
But
You'd like break it down pretty good.
yeah,
but yeah,
let's just
top
say
0.1%.
out of all women on the planet, you were in the top 60. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She's shaking her head. Yes, if you're not
Yes.
watching the video.
And then she says
She's
she's
too
not
humble.
elite.
So
She
okay,
is
so
humble.
that's obviously got to feel incredible, right? Like you're back.
It
And
felt really good. Especially just not knowing.
Yeah.
Just having
Yeah.
no idea
Sure.
where I was gonna.
And after such a weird like 2020,
yeah.
like it's just funky.
Yeah, I was fortunate to where like it wasn't as bad as it was up here in Michigan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was terrible.
You know, we were not necessarily sneaking into the gym, but we were going into the gym,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was still training and trying to come back and
Yep.
get my strength back.
Yep.
My
Did you follow
endurance
anything
came back really
like-
fast.
So we've had a few moms that are still competitors, or like, you know, a couple PTs on the show who have had babies. Like, and there's obviously it's kind of dependent upon each woman's body. But did you have a plan that you followed after you had her to get back to fitness? Did you take things super slow? Did you think you went too fast?
I always said before when I was younger, when I wanted to have babies, far down the road,
Yeah.
that I was going to do that. I was going to see, you know, a pelvic floor PT. I was
Yeah,
going to do
Sure.
all those things, and I did not.
Really?
I did
Wow.
not.
Did you? Do you think you will after another child?
I
if you were to,
think so.
yeah.
I've
I was gonna say,
heard
was
the
that some of that
second-
just timing because of COVID and stuff like that?
It wasn't. I
Oh.
just with the military and their form of healthcare,
Yeah.
it's a little different. So
Yep.
to
Sure.
get into a specialized person like that, it's a little bit tougher. You need the referrals and
Yeah. A lot of hoops to jump through.
yeah.
Hoops or loops? Do you say
You know,
hoops?
hoops.
Jump through hoops?
Yeah.
Hoops.
I don't know.
Definitely
Hoops.
hoops.
There
It might be
is.
loops.
Hoops. There
Jumping
it
through
is.
loops.
I like
No,
hoops.
it's hoops. It's definitely hoops.
for
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely hoops.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go 51st, which is insane. Like if you're in the CrossFit realm, your jaw is on the floor. What is at that point? What do you and your coach do? What's the plan look like? What's the preparation look like leading up into where you ended up qualifying at the MAC?
So for semifinals, it's just been me getting my strength up,
Yeah.
basically, because I am a weaker athlete.
Sure.
It's hard for my muscles to generate power. But I'm very so it's called a respiratory limited athlete,
Mhm.
and my body's ability to breathe is so good that it limits me on power.
Strength.
Sure.
Yes.
That's
So,
interesting.
Yeah, it's very
never heard that.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been working a lot on the assault bike,
Yeah.
a lot of like power intervals,
High
like
power output stuff.
10-second sprints,
Yeah.
like that
Sure.
sort of thing, and I've gotten better.
Yeah.
I still have a ways to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of barbell work, I had a big Russian strength cycle that
Yeah.
I did, and that helped a lot.
Really?
Good.
Yeah, all my numbers are back up to where they used to be.
Okay.
And some a little bit higher.
I was gonna say, did
than
you hit
before.
a PR on a snatch?
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
a
that's
180
insane.
PR,
Wow.
lifetime PR for my snatch. to
Lifetime,
that.
not just post baby, but
Yeah,
like it's the
lifetime.
best snatch you've
That's
ever hit
big
Yeah.
time.
after having a
Yes.
freaking child.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was awesome. It was one of the best moments I think I've ever experienced in competition.
Really?
Yeah, and the barbell felt super light.
That's so cool.
It was great.
How has, and I know, again, all of these competitors are like competing day of, so we're kind of getting like quick interviews before they have to go warm up and stuff. But what did you notice in terms of like changes in your body from previous, not having a child to having a child? And is there any like things that you do differently now warming up or preparing for competitions that you didn't have to do maybe before?
My hips are real tight.
Really?
All the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, all the time. My upper body pulling has been good. Like my overhead mobility is like fine,
Yeah.
but my hips are just always really tight.
Okay.
So I always make sure to warm those bad boys up.
Yeah.
Pigeon stretch.
Jay and I always
all
say
that stuff.
you look more shredded after having a child than you did before?
I was just talking about this with somebody the other day, and I think it's attributed to like happy, hungry, healthy,
Really?
Yeah.
horny athlete.
I
There you
love
go.
it.
You know, I think that is huge, and I'm getting more sleep now. I have an amazing job.
Yeah.
My husband is perfect. My child is perfect.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Everything's like really good. So
That's awesome.
my body, as much of stress as last chance qualifier stuff was,
Sure.
my body is not like in a state of survival mode
Yeah.
as it was like when I was here working a restaurant job
Yeah.
and serving and going to bed and trying to wake up and
Yeah,
train
juggling
and
too much.
get it
and-
all in. It was
Literally feeling
yeah.
like you're just spread thin
Yes,
over everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where
yeah.
now you're able to like enjoy each section of life kind of separately instead of trying to mesh everything together to fit it all in.
Absolutely.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for sitting down with us.
Yeah.
I know you got to go
Thanks
get
for
warmed up and
having
stuff.
me.
We'll have you on
Yeah.
for like
That was
a
like
full,
the perfect person to end with because
I
it's
know.
like she is like finding
such
her
a
balance.
badass. Oh yeah.
Yes.
So-
it's good.
Awesome. Well, we'll have you on for a full episode eventually.
Oh yeah,
But
I love that.
Crush
Let's do it.
crush your last event. And
Thank you. I'm excited. Bar muscle ups and deadlifts.
Get
you know
after
I
it.
love that.
It's all you.
You know I love that.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
thanks for listening.
Thanks.
We're back for our
Bonus.
fourth
Bonus.
interview. We ain't done yet.
Stop. Don't-
So
you're so weird.
What do you mean? We're always
We got
weird.
Zoe on all alone by herself. She's got nowhere to hide. Hi.
When I
Hi.
listen to your podcast, though,
There we
I
go.
enjoy Tully's random,
Hey,
crazy,
thank you.
Oh, well, yeah,
I appreciate
duh.
random
that.
crazy words.
Of course, it makes people
Yeah.
laugh, but I just know him too well to where I'm like, dude, if you keep this going, you're gonna spin off into this weird realm where nobody's gonna know what's going on, and it's gonna be weird.
I'm in space.
See, I don't even know what that's from.
I don't either.
We're
just made it up.
talking.
Don't worry.
Well, Zoe's brother's competing soon. Zoe's not competing because obviously she
She's got
qualified
something
for
going
the
on too.
We got a
CrossFit
mock games tomorrow
Games.
morning.
But we
Yeah.
start mock games tomorrow.
Ooh,
But
the mock games.
we're talking
Do you need me to
preparation
come
for
down and
competitions.
mock
Okay.
you guys?
Stop, you're
Hey.
so dumb. What are 3 things? You have to list 3 things, and you can
Okay.
go into detail like with each one if you want. That either leading up to a competition, before a competition, or during a competition you always do.
I always do. I don't have like rituals or anything.
Nothing?
Not really.
You don't like burn incense and like close your eyes
no,
and chant?
I usually do take an Epsom salt bath.
Do
you?
Those
Hey,
usually make me
nice.
feel
Do you
pretty
say,
good.
is it Epsom or
Yep.
Epsom?
Epsom with an M?
M?
Yeah.
Epsom
Do you
salt.
And
say
actually-
loops or hoops when you jump through them?
Loops.
You say loops? You
Yeah.
say L?
Yeah.
See, I think it's hoops though, but I always say loops as well.
Loops, yeah.
Jumping through fruity loops.
Sure.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
I
anyways.
always do.
Epsom salt
Yep, and then either
before,
or,
or
after.
like during or
Before.
before
And then I'll also do like 40 minutes in the sauna.
in the sauna.
Yes.
Nice.
What? Do you have a sauna?
Yeah.
So,
What?
Say,
Yeah.
say
You
it's
have
in
a
our
sauna at your
basement.
house?
It's in our basement.
when do you do the sauna?
What is this?
I don't know, just some point within the next, like within the previous 2 days of my
Oh.
competing. Some
Okay.
point, yeah.
See, for me, I cut weight, so I do it for that. But I find that like I feel a little bit like too loose if I do it too
Almost
close
like
to competition.
Really?
like lethargic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it like
I agree,
really. I love the sauna, and it chills me out so much.
but almost too much.
Yeah.
Like I guess if it's maybe so, I think of like in a training week, we always train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we kind of have Thursday off. I would do a sauna like Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Going into a rest day, but if I did it like Tuesday evening going into Wednesday training,
Yeah.
I think I would feel like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
usually
know.
do it Wednesday night, and then I
Oh,
just
really?
go to bed right after.
It probably
The
you probably
next
sleep
day.
so well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
great.
that's probably so nice.
That's what my dream is, to have a home that has a sauna,
Would
Yeah.
you have you seen? I want one of those ones that are like
like the barrel.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like cylinders and they
Yeah.
have a big
People
glass door
actually
in the front.
build those.
Yeah, I know they're sweet.
Yeah.
Matt
They're
Frazier had one in
awesome,
his
yeah.
backyard.
Yeah.
Do you do ice baths ever?
No,
I know I don't either. I hate them.
I do too.
They suck.
And it just is a lot of work, you know?
What's
you got to get
your,
the ice and dump it in
obviously
there.
you just kind of like, not obviously, but we're pretty like strict on what we do when we taper, all of that. So we're kind of both following the same things. You probably don't really have like your own routines in that respect, but
Right.
maybe like, what's your like game day nutrition look like?
Game day nutrition, lots of carbs.
Lots.
Lots of carbs.
What's your
your
favorite?
favorite car-
Oh,
Favorite carbs?
wait.
Facebook,
I
give me a
love
Coke.
pancakes.
Pancakes are your
Yes. Yeah.
That's our second
Really?
pancake person.
Yeah. Really? Who's your
Yeah,
first?
James.
Really?
JP.
thing? JP.
JP?
But he really
Yeah.
can't eat anything.
Or oatmeal.
He's so little. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because it's not really his fault. His stomach just gets upset when he eats too much food. and then
That
he throws
sucks.
up.
That sucks.
No
This
one feels
girl-
bad for him.
Dude, you know what? I don't want to say I've never, but there has been very few women that I have eaten food with that can out-eat me in terms of speed. I've never seen somebody eat as fast as her. I'm not kidding.
I'm a speed eater.
It's
Ooh.
insane. We were at...
I'm not proud of it.
More
Where,
of a
where
I
was
need
the
to
first
slow
time?
down.
Was
I
it
just-
at brunch when we were in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Dude, it was when I got those chicken and waffles, and you sent me a message like,
Yeah.
they look so good. She got like, I don't know, she got something. I wasn't even halfway done with mine. I thought I was eating fast, and I hear the fork scraping the plate. And then she ate half of Addison's. I'm like, who is
Just
this
a
person?
vacuum. Just,
Oh,
Yeah, I
God.
totally
And
outate
inhale
Addison
your
in the
food?
morning.
Food. Yeah, Addison is like, she's the worst. In terms of like food eating, she's like, I'm so hungry. I'm going to eat so much food. And then she has like a piece of pizza, and then maybe a few bites of another one. She's like, I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of here. So,
But-
pancakes.
Pancakes or oatmeal.
yeah.
Oatmeal. Pete just said he liked oatmeal a lot
Yeah.
too.
Do you like
or
to eat
banana.
candy
I don't
on
know.
game
It just
days?
depends on how much I got. What?
Do you like candy as a carb source?
Sometimes I'll have Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
I'm
a
a
good
big
one.
fan of
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kids.
I
But
like-
it's
that's
really
like,
like,
I really don't ever do that.
yeah.
Starburst are my game day carb source.
And we're going to have to be kind of like the whole reason we're doing these mock games is so that we can practice like warming up, cooling down, eating between
Are you
like
gonna
between
like
events
warm up
stuff.
and then just stand
Yeah.
in one of the rooms
Literally.
for 40 minutes?
Yes. We will do corral like practice.
With no headphones and no.
We'll have like a
no-
little background music.
All right.
Like if we didn't have background music, Heather and Michael wouldn't talk. They would just stand there, and Zoe
Yeah.
and I would get like really uncomfortable and awkward, and we'd probably just like talk about nothing. So we need background music to
Okay.
like focus.
Yep.
They're so content with being silent. I don't understand how they do it. I
It's
don't like silence.
I don't like silence.
I was
either.
at training at a bro gym earlier this week, a powerhouse gym
Uh-huh.
in West Bloomfield, and they had a sauna, and I went and sat in there, and I didn't have headphones, and there was another guy in there, and we sat in there for 20 minutes and didn't say a single word to each other.
Isn't that weird? I mean, I guess
is
it's not weird, but
because I feel like
Well, how big
I
was the
wanna say
sauna,
some-
though?
It
Were
was
your,
a
like,
de-
knees
it could have
touching?
held like 10 people comfortably.
oh, that's pretty big then. I
But
just would
still-
feel kind of like, I don't know.
You gotta at least be like, "Hey, how about them Tigers?" You know, like you gotta like try to
That's
say
so
some
true.
dumb small talk.
I don't know
like,
what I would do.
How come people don't re-rack their weights?
Yeah,
you know, like-
those guys are such jerks. I don't know. I feel like even like sleeping, I don't like sleeping in silence.
No,
I don't
no.
like laying in my bed and just like hearing
yeah,
myself.
dead silence. If I can
breathe.
hear myself breathe, I'm like
I don't like
kind of
it.
irritated.
And you
by
breathe
hate
it.
really
that,
loud.
too.
Yeah.
I have a really loud fan blowing right in my face all night.
Oh, you like fan blowing on you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
See-
no.
I love it.
I like the fan app.
I have
I don't
to
need
hear it.
Do
like
you like
actual
wrap up in a
wind.
comforter, but you have a fan blowing on you?
Yes, I'm like a burrito, and then the
This is insanity.
and then the fan's blowing right
This
on my
is
face.
insanity.
It's a box
I
fan.
don't get it.
It's awesome.
I don't like air blowing on me at all.
Uh-uh.
Not even a little bit.
Makes my
Really?
nose dry.
No, yeah, it makes my like throat hurt.
No. That's
Okay,
not the
we're
case
like
for me.
ranting here. We went
Yeah,
over
sorry.
your Epsom,
That's fine.
Epsom salt bath,
Yep.
Epson.
Sauna.
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 And we went over your carby sources, but what's your other? You have any other go-to routines?
Not really.
habits?
I just try to get to sleep earlier than usual.
if you can sleep.
If I can sleep. Yeah. At the Granite Games, I could not sleep
Oh
at
my
all.
God, it's
it
the
was
worst.
terrible.
I've
You guys
told
are-
that story
you-
so
I
many
would,
times.
like,
I
wake
know
up
you're
and
not going to sleep the night before the first event there.
I would like be trying
No.
to sleep.
Yeah, definitely not.
CrossFit Games.
and I'd
Definitely
like
not.
think to myself, my fists are clenched.
yeah,
And my legs
I'm
are, like,
white
squeezed
knuckling
together.
myself
Grinding your
right now.
teeth.
Yes.
You can
and
hear
then,
your
teeth
yeah, that's how I
scraping.
felt the whole
What?
time.
I guess we haven't talked since the podcast with the team. We haven't really talked like on air too much about, well, other than me, about like qualifying and stuff. What has the timeline of like qualifying, and what does that look like for you? What, like, in terms of like how has the support been from your gym, your family? What was all of that like?
Oh, it's been crazy. It's been really cool, actually. I've been trying to soak it all in. People I don't really ever even talk to,
Yeah.
or people I don't really know.
You're like
even come up
low-key
to
a
me and
celebrity, right?
That's what I feel like a little bit, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's cool hearing from everybody and people I don't really ever talk
Sure.
to, and the support's been really good.
Have you?
Everyone's pretty pumped.
Has
for
anybody
me.
here come up to you and talk to you at all?
A couple people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you
Not really
don't know?
conversation, just like a congrats as we're walking by.
Have you
Yeah.
had people you don't know?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Which is kind of cool.
It is
Yeah.
kind of cool because and Joe had a lot of people come up to him and like congratulate him through like through the gym and
Yeah.
stuff, and like I think it's a collective like accomplishment, not necessarily like everybody here, not everybody individually have played a part, but like at the same time as athletes, we've grown up doing, like local competitions.
Sure.
And that's kind of molded us into who we are as a team, as individual athletes. And so there's like kind of like a weird like sense of we're representing Michigan as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is
Not
you guys,
just like our
it's
gym
like
or ourselves,
being
our
excited
families,
that an
like,
athlete from your city
Yeah.
gets like drafted in the NFL draft
Totally.
or the NHL draft.
It's so
or
easy
they,
to
like,
get behind.
an athlete's going to the Olympics from your area or something.
Yeah.
Same idea that like people are just pumped that somebody that is a part of the same kind of CrossFit
Yeah.
community is going. So that's been a cool thing to see. Is just like the whole Michigan CrossFit
And it's
community
so
kinda
tight.
getting
Like
behind
it's
you
such
guys.
a tight, like niche community.
Yeah, it seems big, but it's not
It's
really
not,
that big.
no. And you come to these competitions, whether it's in Muskegon or Grand
Yep.
Rapids or Kalamazoo or even into the Detroit area, like all of those people that are traveling, like everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
for
you
us,
see the same faces a lot.
it's just, it's super
Mm-hmm.
cool. And the support has been unreal from, outside of our own like smaller communities within the gyms and families. This West Michigan and really Michigan CrossFit community has been so supportive. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
so cool.
It's pretty cool.
Have you made
Yeah.
any lifestyle changes? Like Ryan is no longer consuming alcohol.
Not really.
No.
No.
She doesn't really.
My-
Tell us. She has never had a full quote unquote thing of alcohol.
Like, I just
Wow.
don't like alcohol.
She's just not a drinker.
It's nasty.
That's all right.
That's
I
fine.
have
To each
no
their own.
interest. Yeah.
I mean,
So-
you
I
live
mean,
a pretty good,
we
clean lifestyle
can't hang
regardless.
out, but
So, like, I don't really like you, but
Wow, what a weirdo.
but no, my lifestyle hasn't really changed much. I just been adding more training into my day, trying
Yeah.
to fit it in.
A little bit more
Less-
structure.
little
too.
less free time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
less free time.
Way
I've been a
more
little more
running than we
selfish
want
with
to
my
do.
own time,
Yeah.
which is fine.
How's the running been?
The running? I freaking hate the running.
Dude,
I hate
amen.
running,
This is
too.
why I like her. 'Cause
It's
we
terrible.
hate
I
running.
used
If
to
you guys
love running,
eat and you don't
and
like
it
to
just
run.
hurts. I
Yeah.
don't like it. But
It's
what'd
like
you say?
every
I said
day we're
you
like, oh,
to
cool.
eat and you don't like to run.
Exactly.
My girl.
It's either
My girl.
running or swimming.
Oh, cool. It's Wednesday. We get to go run repeats at the track again. I can't wait for that. No, thank you.
Yeah, not
We
interested.
text each other and we're like, this whole Jarrett guy, he's the guy that programs
Yeah.
for CompTrain. We're like, we really don't like him anymore. This sucks.
I was like, can we ask him to not program running anymore? And I guess Ryan already had.
Yeah. Well,
And he
I was
said
I
no.
always mess with him like, yeah, I can't wait to go
Have you guys
run
had to
tomorrow.
do any like weird running things yet? Like you have to run a mile backwards.
No. We did a trail
No.
run, which I think
yeah,
I talked
yeah,
about.
we talked about that.
Addison, Zoe, and I went and ran a trail, and then we do a lot of repeats, a lot of sprints. We like practice like zigzag sprinting, like change of direction and
Yeah.
stuff.
Do you like
Zoe's
doing
not
that
very
stuff?
good at that, so we need to get her better at that.
I'm not good at that stuff.
No.
It's you feel
Not
cool
an
when you're
athlete?
doing it,
Yeah,
but I'm
Then
not
you,
like
like, see a
agile.
video of you
and
doing
I
it,
got
you're
on
like,
some
oh my
really
God.
slippery shoes, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Michael's got the spikes on.
But
you know?
Michael's
we need-
really
we
good
need
at
to
like
get you some
helping,
cleats.
too.
Yeah, I know.
He's a very good teacher.
I gotta what? Get
We
some
need to
spikes?
get you some cleats.
Well,
Yeah.
Addison let me borrow her trail shoes.
There-
So
okay, that's better
yeah.
than nothing.
yeah.
You'd think somebody with
But-
a sauna would be able to, just like grab a
Go
pair
to
of
Dunham's and get a $20
yeah,
pair of soccer
apparently
cleats.
that's too much to ask, though.
Just gonna head to Dick's and get some.
There
Maybe
we go.
Noble will give us some.
That'd be
Never
sweet.
know.
Yeah, that's
That'd
what
be
I feel
sweet.
like.
Never
Well,
know.
I don't know how they'll get them because I don't think they make cleats
They
yet.
don't, but they do make golf shoes now.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
kind of
that.
sick.
Are they nice?
You guys
I don't
gonna
know.
get some Noble golf shoes?
I want Noble
I
golf
think you
shoes
guys
for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys actually got a pair.
I will get like every other pair that they have because we had to fill out like sizes for like
The
the
runners.
flops, the runners, the trainers,
Oh,
the
that's cool.
Yeah, lifters.
lifters, which would be sweet if we got
You,
lifters.
I
Oh,
need.
yeah.
That'd be
Oh
cool.
man, I really wish I could get a media pass so I could come with you guys
Joe
and
could
do the run,
Photoshop you one.
do the running count of like how many pieces
I should have said
of,
that last
of
year.
apparel that
I
you
mean,
guys
he can't
get.
do that.
Yeah, Joe doesn't know how to Photoshop things to make them look
Dude,
legit.
that would be sweet. We'll talk to Joe. Maybe we can
I'm
find a
gonna
loophole.
call Scott
I
on
feel
Monday
like Joe would
Do
be
it.
totally
and
into
see if
that.
he can talk to
That would
Rowan
be
McKernan
incredible.
and the CrossFitty people.
Do it.
Because what's the difference if I get it or not? you
Well,
know?
here's the thing. What's the worst that can happen?
I know.
He says no.
Yeah,
Then
I
you
don't
just
think he
break
would be
in and who
upset.
cares?
Yeah,
Anyways, thanks, Zoe.
yeah, that was fun.
Joey.
Thanks, guys.
You're incredible.
Thank
Okay,
you.
don't blow her up too much, dude. She's not that cool.
She's
Congratulations on
she's a good
qualifying for
eater.
the CrossFit Games.
Thanks.
Bye.
Sorry, Tully.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
As always, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody who you think would enjoy it as well. This week's episode was sponsored by Coal Whip Speed Ropes, the fastest and most efficient ropes on the market. Use promo code BOURBON to get 10% off your order today.